right.
I go where I want, good. Yeah. I go where I want, good. Yeah. I go where I want, good.
And we're back with another update. Look, I need to talk to y'all for a second. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. I'm just coming in today to give y'all an update on what I haven't updated you on yet since my last video. I think my last video is where I completed the 8-hour workshop so that if I do apply for any down payment assistance, I have the first step done, right? So that wasn't really Naca, you know, anything that didn't have anything to do with Naca. That was more so for assistance, you know, for the state that I live in. But today's update is going to be strictly Naca. Today's update is bittersweet and I'm gonna explain why. Okay, so where are we? It is October the 11th on Friday, right? I initially had my first Naca intake on the 30th of September, which was it was last Monday, not this Monday that just passed here, but the Monday prior was my first intake where I met my mortgage counselor. I brought my documentation. You'll see the light kind of go in and out because I'm outside and it's kind of towards the end of the day, so sorry about that. That kind of irritates me when I'm watching videos. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but I just want to let y'all know I might look bright one time and then I might get dark the next. Natural sunlight. It's a game of give and take. Anywho, back to what I was saying. It's October the 11th on Friday. September the 30th, I had my first intake session and everything went fantastic. He gave me some homework, which was for me to write letters of explanation for very simple things, very meticulous things, but still simple. So I had to go through the last 90 days of my bank statements, cash apps, PayPals, transactions that don't really have an explanation to them, and I had to write a letter of explanation for all of those, right? So the next day I actually wrote all of them. I think I had over 20 letters of explanation. In addition to those letters of explanation, I needed letters of explanation for multiple addresses on my credit report. As I moved, I had multiple addresses, so I wrote a letter of explanation for that. A letter of explanation for why on my driver's license my current address isn't there, so I wrote a letter of explanation for that. Basically, I didn't have any homework or any action plan that required me to prolong the process. It was just clarification type things, right? Me being me, and I think I told y'all this in the last video, he said, hey, I'm gonna set you up for your appointment next Wednesday, which was October the 9th. But if you can get this stuff to me before then, I can submit you, pending my participation, because I don't technically have my first volunteer until tomorrow, which is Saturday, October the 12th. Before you actually are fully qualified, NACA qualified, you need to have at least one participation volunteer day where you can, you know, kind of help out with a workshop, or there's another one where I think you can go out there and sign up people to get registered to vote. You know, that social scene isn't really my strong suit, so I'm gonna go ahead and help with a workshop. But technically you're supposed to have that done before you are submitted, but he's like, since you're so ready, if you can get this stuff back to me, I can submit you pending that, meaning you still have to do that, but I can put you through anyways, right? Just another reason why I absolutely love my mortgage counselor. I don't know if it's just the luck of the draw. I mean, clearly he was recommended to me by somebody who was with him, but he has been so good, and I am so thankful that he has kind of helped me through the process. When I email him, he responds to me, and I just wasn't expecting my mortgage counselor, my MC, to be as responsive as he's been. Even though it's early on, the horror stories set me up to expect the worst, and that's not what has been happening. So last week, I believe, let's say last Thursday-ish, right? Last Thursday-ish, it was probably like October 4th. Last Thursday, yeah, October the 4th. By last Wednesday, I got him all the documentation that I needed to send him. So I emailed him and I'm like, you know, how long do you think it would take for me to get submitted, for an underwriter to review, for me to kind of get qualified, basically. So he emailed me back and he's like, I submitted you today. Normally, typically it takes about a week, but don't worry, I got you submitted. So I'm like, okay, cool. cool. You know me, I'm like, oh, I'm so prepared and I got everything in order, so maybe it's gonna take quicker than a week for me, right? So this was like last Wednesday. So I'm literally on the site every day. I'm like, what's my status? What's my status? What's my status? And it just kind of stayed on qualification pending. Come Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm like, okay, let the weekend pass. Monday came, you know, still qualification pending. And then Tuesday came. Although it wasn't a week yet, I did just reach out to him just to make sure there weren't any conditions, which are things that need to be provided or changed when the underwriter gets a hold of my file. Looking at the blogs and doing my research, a lot of people kind of reported back that there were conditions or there were things that they needed to provide that their mortgage counselor just wasn't telling them until the very last minute. So me just being on top of it, I just emailed them, hey, I see I'm still qualification pending. Is everything cool? Do I need to provide anything else? He's like, no, everything has been submitted. You're currently just waiting to be reviewed. And this was like Tuesday, right? So the next day is Wednesday, and it was a crazy day. Let me tell you, this entire week has been crazy. Like, house aside, work, this, that, is just, I've been all over the place, right? So I wasn't actually checking it on Wednesday, but Wednesday night, let me rewind a little bit. After emailing him on Tuesday, ironically, I got a phone call. She's like, hi, this is so-and-so from Naca. I see that you showed up on our like pre-approved list pending your participation. I'm a realtor, in-house realtor with Naca, and I just wanted to kind of introduce myself to you. And I'm like, oh, okay. I already have a realtor that I'm planning on going with, or is the phone still on? I don't know. So when I got that call, I'm like, oh, okay, this means I'm in the process, right? And she's like, yeah, I'm just introducing myself. Are you working with your own realtor? Do you want an in-house realtor? So, you know, I was just like, I'm gonna work with my own realtor, but definitely, you know, send me your information. I'm not sure what may happen down the line. I'm new to this. And she's like, okay, great, no problem. I'll just jot this down in your file that you have your own realtor. So I asked her, I was like, does this mean that I'm qualified when I do my participation? She's like, yeah, I mean, when you show up on our list, you're definitely on the qualified list, but it does say pending participation. So in my mind, I was thinking, okay, so it probably won't show qualified technically until I'm complete, right? Until my participation is complete, which is understood. So that kind of gave me a little bit of hope, right? Some reassurance. I'm like, okay, I'm in the process. People are reaching out to me. That means that my file is open. They looking at it. Boom. Action is happening. So the next day, Wednesday, was a crazy day. Work-wise, this-wise, that-wise. Like, this whole week has been, I've been on 10, like, non-stop. A lot of stuff happening, right? Good stuff. But my anxiety has been but Wednesday was so busy that I honestly wasn't watching my web profile like a hawk. Like, I wasn't on Naca.com, and because I got that call and she was basically letting me know it's pending the participation, you know, in my mind I'm just like, okay, I might have to just wait till Saturday, right? So yeah, I wasn't watching it all day. Work was done, got home, it was late at night. So I'm on my laptop and I'm just browsing, you know, looking at houses, researching things, looking up this, doing this. And I'm just like, let me log into my Naca ID, you know, let me just log into the web file, boom, boom, boom. And I log into it and the qualified had a check. And I'm like, I think I even recorded a little video, which I might add here, just to show you what it kind of looks like as the process progresses. So it's almost midnight and I just log into my Naca account and this is where I currently am. Now I don't know what this means. Lender status, application, all that. I have to wait till tomorrow to maybe email my mortgage counselor to get an explanation of that, but qualification process is checked. So, I mean, I feel like that means I'm approved. We'll see. Yeah, the qualification had a check on it. I think it switched me from qualification pending to, qualification pending, and the box that was then in process is house searching. But it also said something else. So I'm like, okay, qualification good, but me being the overthinker, I'm like, well, what does this mean? You know, it says something about, you know, waiting for a bank, something. It was just unclear, right? It was late at night, so I didn't email my mortgage counselor about it. What I was planning to do was the next day, Thursday, which was yesterday. I was planning to just email him when I got up in the morning, but when I woke up, he emailed me first and was like, congratulations, you have been qualified. Do you have time after 6 p.m. tonight? And I'm like, well, I gotta work, but I'm gonna make some time. Like, in no way am I going to allow a few hours at my current job like prolong or stop me from being able to, you know, keep this process as smooth as it possibly can. So I text my boss and I'm like, hey, this is what's happening, and he had no problem. I got off early from work, and initially I thought he just wanted to kind of meet to kind of go over the next steps. But what I wasn't realizing is that because it was Thursday, when you get Naca qualified, you basically have to take the next final step in that qualification process and do the purchase workshop. It's a 2-hour workshop. They typically have it every Thursday, and it's kind of like the seal of approval. More information before you begin the next journey, which is going out, looking for homes, the fun part, right? I don't know. So this is how my mortgage counsel works. Like I said, I feel like I got so lucky with him because the same day I got qualified, I was able to attend my purchase workshop, which basically seals the deal on me being Naca qualified, right? So, right? Let me bring you back to reality, okay? And sharing my Naca journey and sharing my home buying journey and sharing whatever this journey becomes, right? I'm gonna give you the good, I'm gonna give you the happy, the exciting, but I'm also gonna give you the real. Maybe not so happy, maybe not so exciting. Who knows where this is gonna take it, but I promise to be completely genuine and honest, because I feel like I said, I'm here sharing this not only to document it for myself, but also to help other people. So I get off work early, I head to the workshop. It's probably like normally 30 minutes away from me with traffic because it was rush hour. It took me about 45 minutes to get there, but I got there 15 minutes early. So I go in, there are other people there. The purchase workshop was probably about 10 of us, like a couple of couples, some single people, and me. We get there, we're just waiting in like the waiting room. They're like, hey y'all, congratulations, yeah, Naca qualified. 6:05 comes, 6:10 comes. They're like, hey, sorry for the delay. We're just getting things ready. We're just checking things out. We'll come to y'all in a minute. 6:15, 6:20. Maybe like 6:25 is when they came out and was like, hey, we're having some technical difficulties, but we're gonna go ahead and bring y'all on back so that we can get started. So we headed back. They handed each of us like this little packet, which basically has our qualified sheet, what we're qualified for. Congratulations, you've been qualified for the mortgage, just the information packet, right? But it's tailored to us because it has our information. One lady opened her packet and she was like, I don't have any numbers on here. It's completely blank. He's like, no worries, I'll take that. We'll get it fixed, whatever. So they brought her another one. When we got to the end, y'all, she was like, it still doesn't have any numbers on that. And she was just like, I don't know. Anyway, so we get in, they hand us our packet with our information, with our congratulations, and we just get into the home purchasing workshop. That's where it kind of gives us the information on the next steps, you know, what they suggest, real estate agent, in-house, out-house, interest rate, our monthly payment amount, what we qualify for. One thing for me that I noticed is that my monthly payment amount was actually higher than I asked to be approved for, because I'm not sure if I mentioned, I'm trying to avoid payment shock, which can extend out your ability to get qualified, right? So if I came in paying this amount and I want to end up paying a little bit more, even $1, anything more than what you're currently paying for rent that you want to pay for your home, you're going to have to go through bill shock, meaning 3 to 6 months added to your process of you just making sure that you can show them that you can save whatever that difference is. I don't have that kind of patience, as well as I'm not trying to like live outside of my means. So I'm like, hey, I paid this, keep me where I'm at, or if I can go lower, even better, and we can just bypass the bill shock. And he's like, cool, perfect, you know, we'll just do this. This is what you qualify for. Technically you qualify for a little bit more, but to avoid bill shock, I'm gonna keep it here, right? That's what we agreed upon. That's what it was. My monthly amount is more than what we agreed to, which is okay, because I can still choose to get a house to pay less, right? But it says a monthly payment shock of a certain amount, and it says continue to save at least this payment shock every month through closing, which must reflect your bank account or accounts. I like my mortgage counselor, and because I feel like he had my best interest at heart, I didn't mention it because I'm already planning to save over this amount in my savings, just because I'm hoping that this doesn't come back to bite me, because payment shock happens before you get qualified, and I am qualified now. So I probably should have asked this question at the purchase workshop, but what I didn't want to do is ask something that would potentially cause them to go back into my file, stop or change anything that would prolong my process. So, but I'm gonna email my mortgage counselor. That reminds me, I'm gonna email my mortgage counselor just to ask that question, get specifics. Not sure, but I'm gonna ask him. Anywho, let's get down to what I really want to talk about, why I called it bittersweet. So we're in the purchase workshop. We are talking about interest rates. We are talking about your monthly payments. We're talking about income, what you qualify for, interest, taxes, all the stuff that comes with home buying, informative information. But we get down to the buy down, which the buy down for Naca initially has been, you can buy your interest rate down to as low as, I believe it's like an 8%, right? Well, basically pay a chunk of interest up front, and that in turn can save you so much money if you plan on living in your home long term, which is what I plan to do. So my initial plan has always been to buy my interest rate down to the very lowest percent, because that allows me to get a much better value home for the money that I'm going to be paying per month. So we're going through it, they're explaining it, and they're like, yeah, and the buyer, you know, you are allowed to buy down at least 5 points on your interest rate. And I feel like I was the only one that caught that, because nobody else questioned it at all. I'm like, can you repeat that for me? We're limited on the buy down. He's like, yeah, you can only buy down 5 points as the buyer. And I asked, I'm like, did that recently change? He was like, yeah, actually in July of this year, that changed to where as the buyer, you can only buy down 5 points. So for example, if you're not familiar with points, I am not a mathematician, but I do understand this particular system. The best way I can explain it is 1% of your total loan amount is 1 point. 1 point of an interest rate is 0.25%. So for example, say the interest rate is 3.25. The house I want to buy is $200,000. 1% of $200,000 is $2,000. So for $2,000, I can buy down 0.25% of that interest rate. Boom. Making it now 3%. Now before, Naca allowed you to buy your interest rate down to virtually nothing. So basically, you could buy your interest rate down to, I believe it's like 0.0, and then it's like 162, 187, something like that. Basically, it's below 1%. And that would have benefited me. But now, let's say the interest rate is 3.25, because I can only buy down 5 points. The most that I can actually buy it down is $10,000, right? And $10,000 will allow me to bring it down to 2%. 2% interest rate on a home, amazing. It's actually really great. But it changes things for me, because you're talking about me going from attempting to buy it down below 1% to having a 2% minimum. I'm hoping this makes a lot of sense. I didn't want to have like math class or anything, but I didn't want to talk about it without kind of explaining it. Yeah, so for anybody who is getting into Naca solely for the buy down option, just be aware that things have definitely changed. I've even gone on to Naca's blog, and Tim Trumbull has confirmed that this is true. I mean, there are some stipulations to it, like if a seller gives you money on closing costs, you can use that to buy down more of your interest rate, or if you have like a down payment assistance or incentives from like a new build, if they don't have any restrictions on what they're giving to you, you can also use that. Those things aren't guaranteed though. Me being able to bring my own money to the table, that is. So again, this changes things for me. I am Naca qualified, you know, and I'm happy about that. I'm definitely not trying to downplay the fact that I got Naca qualified in a matter of 10 days. When we were in that meeting, he was asking questions like, how many of y'all have been in the program for a year? And some people were like, how many have been in the program for like 6 months? You know, and they were basically talking like, we know it's been a long path. We know it's taken some time. And I'm just sitting there like, I had my first intake like 10 days ago. So I will say this is the fastest I have heard of anybody getting qualified for Naca. So I'm thankful for that. I'm extremely thankful. However, I got a slight taste of how things can change, how what you expect to not be reality, and how I'm gonna have to begin to take what's brought to me and make the best of it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm basically just gonna go back to the drawing board and create a plan off of that. Yeah, I'm NACA qualified. My first intake was September the 30th. It is October the 11th. I got NACA qualified technically on Wednesday, which was October the 9th, but let's just keep it all the way literal, and I literally got NACA qualified on Thursday, October the 10th, in 10 days. So very, very thankful for that. The next step is home searching. It does say that my NACA qualification paper is good for 180 days, 6 months. Definitely not waiting 6 months. My plan was really to hit the ground running, but because the game has kind of changed, I'm gonna do a little bit more research on this buy down, formulate my own plan before I really go out there and play myself, right? I'm gonna email my mortgage counselor just for some clarification on some things, just to make sure I'm feeling comfortable with this next step. So NACA qualified, y'all. That's where I am. It's time to get things in order, and I will definitely come back to y'all with my next update. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging in there with me during this journey. It's the very, very beginning. Even with this, I don't even want to say small, because it's small, but it's also like really huge. Even with this minor roadblock, right? I'm still going to move forward, and I'm still going to make the best of it. I'm still going to continue with NACA, because even with the new rules, it's still unmatched financially. I'm gonna keep y'all up to date. I gotta go. I will talk to y'all later.
I go where I want good. Yeah. I go where I want good. Yeah. I go where I want good.